Now that I got a little powder coating under my belt, I'm going to take you guys along. I've got some pulleys and some brackets for my friend's 69 Camaro that he's rebuilding. Take you guys along for the journey. Let's go. Alright guys, here's the crank pulley, water pump pulley. It looks like an alternator bracket. Whatever this bracket is, those two pieces go together. And whatever that little bracket is. But he's already cleaned them up as best he could. They still got paint and stuff on them, but blast cabinet will take care of that. And I'm going to clean off the bolts and stuff too. So if you haven't watched the Eastwood powder coat gun unboxing, I've got a Harbor Freight, little $400, leaks like a sieve, but does the job, blast cabinet. I'm running some Harbor Freight blast media. It doesn't even say what it is. Yeah, abrasive glass bead. This is 50 pounds, or 50, almost 52, but it's glass bead media. So far that's worked pretty good. For the pulleys and stuff, I'm just going to use the matte black powder coat paint from Harbor Freight. It's cheap, and I did some of my pulleys already with it, and they turned out pretty good. If you haven't seen it, there's my powder coat oven I got set up, and then the Eastwood PCS 250 powder coat gun, and I've got a digital thermometer. So that's the equipment I will be using. Now let me show you real quick. I know I've got this stuff spread out all over the shop, but here for instance is the crank pulley that I did. The lines are from sitting on the oven rack, but this is the pulley I did. It's a little dusty now. This is the one that'll be going on the Firebird. So I'm gonna blast these, take you guys along, and may interject some commentary here and there. So let's get to it. Step one, blasting. Got some old media in here. I may fight with it, but I'll at least show you guys a little bit of it, and I'll probably just do the rest of it off camera because it's really foggy and kind of hard to see. So you've got painted surface, and I found if you pulsate this, it actually works better. Doesn't clog up as much. So you can see it was black, now it's not. So I'm going to continue to do this for the pulleys and all the rest of the brackets, and I'll show you the final product. Alright, well here's all the parts blasted. Took a while. My air compressor is underpowered for that blaster, so I gotta wait for it to build back pressure and cool off, because I don't want to overheat it too bad. Plus I think I got a leaky gasket on my compressor. I did notice something though. I learned something. So I've been having problems with this thing, this blasting cabinet. Not just clogging up and stuff. I don't know. You can tell it leaks. I mean, that's all. I blew it off before I started, but I noticed it kept shocking me, and it took me a while to figure out that it was static electricity from blasting. So what I did is I just took the chain from the door and I laid it across here. It's touching a couple of screws, and it quit shocking me, and the gun ran awesome. So that's a trick I haven't heard of when I was doing my research on the blast cabinet and all that stuff. So hey, there's a freebie for you. So parts are done, and I'm gonna get them hung up on the rack, and then we'll lay down some powder. I shall return. All right, kind of a ghetto way to do it. Hopefully this works. Got welding wire running through the whole thing, so I don't have to keep moving my ground clamp. But I got some hanging, some on top. Let's see if it fits in the oven. It's time for outgassing. Be right back. This is gonna be such a cheesy video. Anyways, our next step after we blasted and I got them all hung up, and the pulleys are up there too, outgassing. So got the oven set to 450, so I'm gonna wait for the parts to come up to temperature. Which actually won't take too long with these smaller parts. And then after we do that, we're gonna basically bake them at 450 for about 30 minutes. And then we'll take them out and let them cool down and shoot powder. So be back in about 30 minutes. All right, parts are done outgassing. If you're wondering what outgassing is, you can tell baking them has turned them a purplish color instead of the whitish color they looked after they were done blasting. So what outgassing does basically is you're baking all the oils and stuff like that that have soaked into the metal. You're basically baking off those. Let's see, that's still pretty hot. So I'm going to let these cool down to close to room temperature. And when they're ready, I will finally put down some powder coat. So I loaded up the hopper about halfway. I'll hook up my air supply, check my pressure, and go to town. Then we'll put it back in the oven. All right, see you in a few. And now we have the raw powder coat on the parts. The pieces of metal that have little channels or stuff like that, like especially like the belt grooves and stuff like that, cause actually a Faraday cage effect, and it'll actually not let it attract the powder. And you're gonna see that a little bit inside the crank pulley and stuff like that when it's in the light. But time to carefully relocate this back into the oven. There the parts are in the oven. In a minute everything will turn glossy as soon as it heats up. Then once it gets up to temp and it all glosses out, we bake it another 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and then we let it cool off and we're done. Alright, be back in a minute when it glosses. Smoky, but see it's glossed out. Now I'll just check the temp. Once it gets up to 400 degrees where it's supposed to be, we'll bake it for 20 minutes. There's not a whole lot to show you because you can't really see in there, and you couldn't really see in the blaster. So I'll just show you the finished product when we're done. Be back in about 40 minutes. And there we have it. Finished product. Crank pulley's still a little warm. There's a little bit of non-stickage right there, but it actually flowed out pretty good. You can see in the groove there what I was talking about, the Faraday effect didn't quite get in there, but I didn't want to do that anyway because I don't want to put a bunch of stuff on the inside and cause any clearance issues with belts and stuff like that. But you got the grill marks on it. That's because I don't have a way to hang them yet. But everything looks pretty good. A lot better than when it started. So I think he'll be happy with this. I don't know if I'm gonna post this video or not. It definitely was not a how-to. It was not intended to be a how-to. But just powder coating some stuff for a friend. That guy's still warm. He's pretty thick. But there we go. Alright, well, if I do post this, let me know what you think. And we'll catch you next time on Chaos Garage.